This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last session, we have discussed the action controls. We have discussed what exactly the action controls and what is the use, and how can we invoke the actions, how can we call the controller action methods automatically. That means asynchronously without having any human interaction. Without having any human interaction, how can we invoke the controller action methods to perform some operations automatically? We have discussed based on some time frame by using action collab. And along with that, we have discussed how can we place or how can we represent a picklist control on the Visual Force page, and how to add the elements to the picklist control we have discussed in the last session, and how to place checkbox controls and then multi-select picklist, radio button controls on the user interface we have discussed. Okay, now, so in that one, during the preparing the picklist control, we are adding some elements. Whenever I'm using that select list tag, the select list tag is simply placing a picklist control on my Visual Force page without any elements, even none also. Okay, even none also. None element, none option is also not available. Simply it will be in placing a small picklist control. That's it. No label, no properties, and then no ID property, and then no elements inside. Simply it is placing a small picklist control. In order to add the elements to the picklist control, we are using a tag called as select option tag. By using that select option tag, we are able to add the elements. How many? Only one at a time, not multiple. So that we are using that select option tag. With the help of that select option tag, we are adding an element. So we are adding an element. That each and every element is having the two properties inside that: item label and then item value. That means item label will be getting represented. That means visible to you on the picklist control. Item value is nothing but the value which will be passing to the backend. Whenever I'm selecting a value inside the picklist control, the corresponding value will be passing to the backend. So based on that value, we can able to perform some operations. So for each and every element, we are having the two properties are available: item label and then item value. Item label will be getting visible to you inside the picklist control. Item value will be sitting inside behind that element, which will be passing to the backend. So based on this item value, we can do some operations inside your Salesforce instance. Okay, now, so in this case, for example, I'm adding the elements manually inside my user interface itself by using a tag called a select option tag. To add each and every element, we are using a separated tag, which is separate select option tag to add each and every element separately. But in some cases, if you want to add some hundreds of elements, that's what we can do. Do we need to hard code all these elements names? Like here we have hard coded the values. These are hard coded element values we have populated, but sometimes I need to populate this value dynamically at runtime. Not only one element, not only two elements, hundreds of elements I would like to populate at a time. How do we do this? If I'm using that manual process, if I'm using that select option tag, okay, to add the elements manually, then we need to write some hundreds of lines of code in order to add that elements inside the picklist control. And that too, those elements will be the hard-coded elements. That elements will be the hard-coded elements, static elements. So in this case, to avoid this problem, we can add the elements to the picklist control through programmatically also at runtime. At runtime, we can add the elements to that picklist control through programmatically also with the help of Apex program. So whenever if you want to add an element to the picklist control through programming, we have to use the help of a class called as select option class. Okay, select option is a standard class which can able to hold only one element, which we can able to add to the picklist control. In order to add the element to the picklist control, whatever the element you want to add, one element, one single element. Okay, to add one single element, we are using a class called as select option class. Select option is a class which can hold only one element. okay, which can hold only one element which we can able to add to the Picklist control. For example, if you want to hold multiple elements, then if you want to hold multiple elements, I'm having account variable which can able to store one account record. To hold the multiple account records, then list collection. Simple concept. Here also, select option is a class which can hold one element which we can add to the Picklist control. If we want to add multiple elements to Picklist control, then what we can do? We need to create the list collection of that select option class. Okay, we have to use list collection of that select option class. So using the list collection, we can able to hold multiple elements. Once all the elements are there inside your list collection, add these elements to your Picklist control in one shot. Okay. So once the elements has been stored inside the list collection, all the elements you can add to the Picklist control in one shot. Now tell me, if you want to add multiple elements to the Picklist control at a time, what is the tag we need to use? Select option or options? Options. Okay, select options tab. Select option tag can able to add only one element to the Picklist control at a time. To add multiple elements. Okay, to add multiple elements at a time, so we need to use that select options tag. Okay, so now here in this case, so whenever if you want to add that elements to programming, we are using that help of select option class. Okay, select option is a tag, select option is a class also internally. We have a class called as select option class, which can able to hold only one element, which we can able to add to the Picklist control. To store the multiple element, to add the multiple elements to the Picklist control, we need to prepare the list collection of the select option class. That means list of select option class. We can add all the elements inside a collection. Once all the elements are there in the collection, we can add that collection of elements to the Picklist control by using select options tab. Okay, clear? Now, so let's make a note of this one here. Select option class. This class is used to add an element to the Picklist control. This class is used to add an element to the Picklist control. This class is used to add an element to the Picklist control. Upon adding the element to the Picklist control through Apex programming, we have to use select option class. Select option class. Syntax. Select option, object name equals to new select option. Here we have to specify item value, see the reverse format, item label. Item. So whatever the label to be visible inside your Picklist control, that label we have to specify on the right side as the second parameter. Whatever the value, that means the backend value. Okay, whatever the value you want to pass to the Apex programming or to the backend, that value we have to specify in the first parameter. Okay, so select option class is having a constructor internally by default, which will be expecting two input parameters. One is item value, second one is item label. Generally, we are specifying key value, but in this case, a reverse format. Okay, reverse format. Label will be in the right side, and then value will be in the left side. Okay, so that we have to pass that the item value first and then item label first. Okay, like for example, select option. Option equals to new select option. Here we can specify IND and then For example, I'm indicating like that. So we have to prepare that elements. Okay, we have to prepare the elements like this. We have to specify the item value and then item label both. Upon adding an element to the picklist control, we have to use that select action class through programming. With the help of that select action class, we can able to prepare an element by specifying that item label and the item value, and then we can add this element to the picklist control. For example, assume that I'm having the element. Okay, option 1, option 2. Okay. Now like that we can prepare the multiple elements also. So now in this case, for example, I want to add a collection of elements to the picklist control. How can we do that? Now this particular element, nothing but this class is going to be adding only one. I want to add multiple. What we can do? List the collection. List or select option. Okay. Now make a note. We can add the multiple elements to the picklist control by creating the list collection of select option type. That means every element inside this list collection will be of type select option. Select option is what? Is it a standard class? That means is it a affects class? Is it a user different class? Standard. That means affects class. That means we haven't prepared this class. This class has been given by Salesforce by default. Now tell me, can you store affects class elements inside my list collection? Can you store affects elements? Long ago we have discussed list collection. Yes, sir. Sure. Affects class, affects elements, affects elements. Are you sure? Yes. People are not responding still. Now, in this case, when coming to the listic collection that already we have discussed, listic collection can store primitive type of elements, affects type of elements, a subject type of elements, collection type of elements, user different types of elements. Okay, all these 5 types. Okay. Now, this select option is a standard class. That means affects class. It's the affects type. Type in the sense class. Okay. So that here affects type of elements also we can store inside that list collection. So that here not only storing the subject type of elements, collection type, primitive type, we can store affects types and user different types also. During the concept of the previous sessions, we have discussed about the wrapper class. There we have stored our own user different types of elements also inside that. Okay. So now here in this case, when coming to that picklist control, if you want to add some multiple elements, a collection of elements to the picklist control, first of all, we have to prepare these elements one by one, and add these elements to that collection and bind this collection of elements to your picklist control in one shot. Okay, so that I need to prepare that multiple elements by using that list collection. Like for example, here, I'm preparing that options. Select option 1 equals to new select option. I'm indicating like as empty value. Select option 2. New select option. I'm preparing the third option. Wow. I'm preparing the fourth option. So these are the 4 elements I have prepared right now. So these elements are separate elements. Option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. These four are separate elements. These four elements are separate elements. Now how can we combine them to a collection? Okay, list of select option. LST options equals to list of select option. Next is the collection. Then how to add these elements to that collection now? LST options dot add of option 1. We are adding each and every element. Option 2 and option 3 and then option. That means what? We are preparing each and every element separately. Okay, we are preparing each and every element separately. Okay, and then once the elements are ready, we are storing all these elements inside my collection. Okay, we are storing all these elements inside my collection. Okay, now so that here we can prepare these elements first, and then we can able to add these elements into my list collection. This is one mechanism in order to prepare a list of elements. I will show you one more mechanism. I want to prepare the list of elements to store the gender value. So in this case, list of select option. List the gender option equals to new list of select option. I'm adding that element. LST gender options dot add. What we need to add? The new elements. New. What type of element we need to add? Select option. Here we can specify that elements. I'm indicating that value. I'm indicating. And the second one. LST gender options dot add. New. Select option of. We can specify. I'm adding that. Add of new select option. That means what? We can able to follow either this syntax or we can follow either this syntax. Now tell me which one is an optimist? First one or second? Second one is an optimist. Because here we are preparing that so many elements. Okay, we are creating the objects here. These are occupying some more memory here. And then again, these elements are there inside the collection. The same elements are stored inside my collection also. Okay, so that here also they are occupying the memory. Here also they are occupying the memory. That means here more memory will be getting occupied. It's a waste of resources. We're wasting the memory. For this one, I would like to reduce that memory usage with the help of that by using the second syntax. Here the elements are storing only inside the collection. So only one copy of elements will be there, only one set of memory will be getting this. Just we are preparing the elements, that's it. Just we are preparing the elements by using the Apex programming with the help of select option class. Understood this concept here? Or any confusions still? In order to add some element to the Picklist control, we need to prepare the elements first. What element you would like to add? So that to prepare that element, we are using a class called as select option class. Select option is a standard class given by Salesforce, which is used to prepare one element which we can able to add to the Picklist control. Okay. In order to add the elements inside the Picklist control, okay, whatever the elements are required, each and every element will be in the form of select option type. Through programming, if you want to add the element, you have to use the help of select option class. So, but sometimes inside the Picklist control, not only one element are adding the multiple elements. In order to add the multiple elements, we have to use the help of the list collection, list of select option class. Okay, list of select option. That means I would like to store a collection of elements. I would like to store a collection of select options. Select options means list of elements which can be populating inside the picklist control. So not only one, I can populate multiple. It may be one, it may be two, it may be 10,000, whatever, anything. In order to add a group of elements to the picklist control, we need to prepare the list collection of that select option. That means every element will be of type select option type. Okay, every picklist element will be of type select option where it is having the two parameters to you. Okay, it is having two parameters to you. In the first parameter, we have to specify the item value. In the second parameter, we have to indicate that item label. That means item labels are getting visible in the picklist control. Upon selecting that item label, the corresponding item value will be passing to the backend through the picklist control. Okay, clear? No. So that in this case, whenever if you want to add some element to a picklist control through programming, we have to use the help of the select option class. So to add that multiple elements, we are going to be preparing a list collection. To the list collection, we are adding each and every element to one by one, one by one. So now all the elements will be there inside the list collection. Now you can find this list collection to your picklist control. Okay. Now, so upon preparing the elements, upon placing them inside the list collection, we can use either this syntax, that means it is a lengthy syntax. It's a lengthy syntax which we need to prepare the elements first, and then we need to add all these elements to the list collection again. So to avoid this problem here, we can make the coding a bit short. We can make the code optimized just by preparing that list collection, and then we can add the elements inside this picklist control, okay, to that list collection by using the constructor of the select option class. Okay, we can follow either this format or we can follow either this format. So now in most of the cases we used to follow with this particular the second syntax because it is an optimized one. The number of lines of code will be getting reduced. Okay, clear? Understood the concept now? Next one. So now as of now, just we have prepared that element. That's it. We haven't added the elements to the collection. We haven't added the elements to the picklist control. How to bind the elements to the picklist control? Where all the elements are available, I'm having the elements inside my collection, that is with the name LSC option. If you want to bind these elements, if you want to place these elements inside the collection, inside the picklist control, we have to use a tag called as select options tag. Yesterday we have used select option tag, which is used to add one element to the picklist control. But now I'm having list of elements are available with me. Inside my Apex programming, I have prepared so many elements. Now all these elements are available with me in the form of a collection. I want to bind all these elements to the picklist control in one shot. So that in order to add a collection of elements to the picklist control at a time, we are using the help of a tag called as select options tag. Okay, select options tag. Now make a note of this tag here. Now, this tag is used to bind a collection of picklist elements to the control at a time. Picklist elements to the control at a time. Now make a note. Whenever we are going to be adding the elements to the picklist control, okay, through programming, all the elements will be in the form of select option type. It should not be account type, it should not be contact type, it should not be lead type, it should be select option type. The elements should be in the form of select option type. Now, so in this case, how can we bind? Now let's see practically. Properties. The first one is ID property to specify the reference name. Second property is value property. In this value property, we have to specify the list collection name, where exactly the pick list elements are available. Okay, where exactly the pick list elements are available. Where we have these pick list elements in segment list collection. What is the list collection name here? LSP gender option, so that we can able to calculate. But in this case, whenever I'm using this select option tag, select option tag should be a child component to what tag? Select a list tag. It should be a child component to select a list, because we are going to be binding these elements to what? To the picklist control. How to prepare the picklist control? By using select list tag. So within that select list tag, starting and ending tag, we have to use select options. Okay. Now make a note of this. This tag should be a child component to the select list tag. This tag should be a child component to the select list tag. I will be giving some examples. I'm preparing a class. I'm preparing a class. Public class. Load. Rating values. Okay. I'm preparing a list collection. Public list of select option. LST options. Get and set. I'm preparing the constructor. I'm preparing the object here. LST options equals to new list of. I'm adding the elements. LST options start add. What we are going to add a new element. What is that new element? It is of type select list. The select option. I'm adding that first element. LST options start add new select option of. So I'm adding these elements to my list collection. And those elements are available inside my collection. And then the collection is there inside my class. And those elements we can able to access from my Visual Force page. Okay. So I prepared a class with the name load rating values. Or for example, simply I'm indicating like some gender values. Okay. Load gender values. So now here I'm adding that collection in order to store all the gender elements. For the gender picklist field, what are the elements you would like to add? All those elements I'm preparing here by using the select option class. Each element I have prepared. Okay, each element I have prepared, and then I have added these elements to the collection. Once all the elements are available inside the collection, then we can bind these elements to your picklist controller. Okay. Okay. So now once the elements are ready, then what we can do, we need to add this element to the Picklist control. How can we do that here? How can we bind this element to the Picklist control then? How to prepare the Picklist? Select the list. Okay, select the list. Label equals to select the gender. Multi-select equals to false. Size equals to 1. And then we need to add these elements. How can we add the elements to the Picklist control? Select option or options? Options. Okay. Now here we are having a property called as value property. In this value property, we have to specify the collection. So let's see. That's it. So we have to prepare that elements first, and then we need to add these elements to my Picklist control by using a tag called as select options tab. Concept will be looking like a bit confusion. Okay, so try to understand this concept. That's what I'm asking you to do the practice on daily basis. But same question, same answer. Daily basis. Done? Done with this piece of code. Shall we go with the practical part? How to prepare the elements through programming and how can we bind these elements to the Picklist control. Okay. So now in this case, we are hard coding the elements here also. Okay. Upon adding the element through programming, we have the first case. That means here also we are hard coding these elements. How to make it dynamic, we'll see in the second case. Okay. First, let me go with this part, and then we'll see how can we get these element values dynamically at runtime from database. How can we populate those elements to the Picklist control? We'll see. Okay. Now, so let's take a small use case. Okay, let's take a small use case to bind some elements. Take a small use case. Design a visual first page. Design a visual first page to prepare a Picklist control inside the visual first page to store all the rating values. To store all the rating values through Apex programming. With the help of that Apex programming, I would like to bind the element to this rating Picklist control. Clear? Now, so let's go with the practical part now. I'm designing a small page. I'm indicating the rating picklist control page, or simply rating picklist page. So with this name, there is no page has been designed as of now. I want to create a new page with this name. Click on the link. Now it is going to be preparing a page with the default code. I want to remove this default code right now. Now, so now here I'm adding the default properties for this page tag. Setup equals to false. Sidebar property also I don't want to make it visible. Show header equals to true, and the tab style. I want to apply the candidate object tab style for my Visual Force page. And specify the section header to indicate the title and the subtitle for your Visual Force page. To indicate the title and the subtitle, I am using the two properties. Title property I'm giving that header as the title part as input control and the subtitle as picklist control. I'm using the form tag to design or to replace all the input and output controls at one place. I'm using the page block. I'm giving the page block name as the title as picklist control block. Inside this page block, I would like to have a section. Page block section. I'm indicating the title. And the number of columns equals to 2. And I'm indicating that collapsible option. I don't want the collapsible option for my page block section, so I'm indicating that value as false. And then here we can able to prepare your picklist control by using the select listed tag. With the help of that select listed tag, we can prepare our own picklist control, and then through programmatically we can populate the elements with the help of select option class. Okay. So I'm adding the picklist control. Select a list. Now it is placing a small picklist control without any properties, without any label, without any elements. Now I would like to specify the label. Select the rating, and I'm indicating that property is multi-select equals to false. I'm indicating the size equals to 1. Only one element has to be get visible at a time, so that I have indicated that the label property have specified this control is not a multi-select picklist control. This should be a normal picklist control, and then size should be only 1, so that only one element has to be get visible at a time, not multiple. Now, so now my control is empty right now. There is no elements available. Now I would like to add the elements. to my picklist control through programming. I want to prepare the elements through programming and I would like to add them to my picklist control. Then how can we do that now? Tell me. What we can do? We need to write that code. Where we can write the code inside a controller class. Now, specify that controller class. Controller property. What is that controller name? Rating picklist controller. Okay. Rating picklist controller. I'm preparing a controller class. Inside this controller class, I would like to prepare the code in order to prepare the elements to be get populating inside the picklist control. So how to prepare an element to be get populating inside the picklist control? What is that class we need to use now? List of select option, because not only adding one option, we are adding the multiple option to the picklist control. So that to prepare each and every element, we need to use a class called as select option class, which we can able to store one picklist element information inside that. In order to store each and every picklist element value, we are using select option class. So I'm using that. So now I'm preparing a constructor, because upon loading the page itself, I would like to populate all the elements inside the picklist control. So I'm preparing a default constructor. Here I'm going to be adding the element to my list collection, because here list of elements I would like to bind at a time. So that here I'm using that list collection. List of what? Select option. Okay, LST options. I'm indicating the get and set. Inside the constructor, I'm going to be creating the object of the list collection. LST options equals to new list of option. So we have prepared a list collection which will be holding the elements inside that. Okay, which will be holding the elements inside this. Okay, now. So now in this case, so now right now the collection is empty. There is no elements available. Now I would like to add the elements one by one. How can we add the elements? LST options dot add. What you want to add? The select option. How to add the select option? New select option. Okay. So what is the option values? I'm indicating that option value as empty, and the actual key will be label will be the none. The second one. LST options dot add. I'm adding one more element. New select option of. I'm indicating that value hard. LST options dot add. The third element I'm adding. Select option. One. The fourth element. So these are the four elements I have added inside my list collection. So I'm having the list collection, which is of type select option type. That means each and every element is nothing but a select option, which we can able to binding to the picklist control. So that here once the list collection is ready, in that list collection we have added four elements to be get populating inside my picklist control. Now the elements are ready with me. Then how can we bind these elements to my picklist control now? Go to that select list tag. Inside that select list tag, we have to use a tag called as, what is the tag to bind the multiple elements? Select options. Okay, you will be having the select option tag, select option. Yesterday we have used select option. Now we are using select options tag. Now, what is the value? What is the property in this case? Value equals to LST option. That's it. Okay. So now in this case, I'm preparing the picklist control by using that select list tag, and then I'm going to be adding the elements inside my collection with the help of a tag called as select options, where I have prepared these elements through programming. I have placed all the elements information inside my list collection. This list collection I'm binding to my value property of that select options tag. Now let's save this one. So now whenever the page is getting loaded, it is preparing that object of the specific controller class. Controller class will be getting invoked. It will be creating that object of the class. Upon preparing the object, the default construct will be getting filed, which is preparing the object for the listed collection class. It is adding all these four elements. These four elements are binding to my Picklist control here automatically. Now let's specify. You will be having the values, okay, none, and then you will be having these values called as hard, warm, and the cold. So now not only placing the values inside the Picklist control through the user interface, we can able to add the element through programming also. Not only from the front end level, from the back end level also, we can able to add the elements inside my Picklist controls. Okay, clear? Now, for example, if I'm selecting the value hard, what value will be returning to you by the back end? H. If I'm selecting that element value like as none, what it will return? Empty. That means null. Okay, based on that, we can able to make a query to that database also. Okay, clear? Understood the concept, how to prepare the Picklist control, how to bind the elements through Visual Force page as well as through Apex program. Okay, in this Apex programming, we have hard coded these element values. Now we'll see how can we collect it from the database also. Okay, clear up to this one? Okay. Now, so now here as of now, we have binded the elements to the Picklist control through programming by hard coding the value. Now I want to go with the database part. Okay, would like to go with that database programming. So how can we collect that? For example, here I'm populating rating values like as hard, warm, cold. Sometimes I want to collect all the account record names available inside my account object. Those names I would like to populate inside my Picklist control. I'm having my account object. In my account object, I'm having so many records. For every account record, we are having the name value. All those account record names I would like to collect from the database. I want to populate inside my Picklist control. How can we do that? Now let's see practically in this case. Okay. Here up to this one here. Let's take a small use case. Design a Visual Force page to populate all the account record names inside the Picklist control upon loading the page. Upon loading the page, I want to collect all the account records information, and those account record names I want to populate inside the Picklist control, okay, while loading the page itself. Now, how can we do this one? Now, let's see practical. Now, tell me your approach, how can we do this? How can we do this? Give me your approach. Okay. 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 Directly we can't place because every element should be in the form of select option type. Initially, we are getting the data from the SOQL query file. Then, next. Okay. Another list collection will be of type what? I'm collecting that list of account records from my object file. Those are there inside my collection now. I want to populate those account record names inside my Picklist control. Then, Right. So another will be of type select option because every account record I need to collect and then I need to convert into select option type. Because whenever if you want to add any element inside the Picklist control, that should be of type select option. Right. One more collection. Okay. Okay. But whenever I'm adding that element, okay, to the Picklist control, okay, like a select option type, we have to pass two things. One is label, second one is value. In this case, value is what, label is what.
Value is the name and label is the name and value is ID.
Value will be ID, right? Simple. Okay, same concept here. That means what? Collect that account record IDs and the names. We don't need the remaining field values because we are populating only the names. So whenever if you want to add any element to the Picklist control, so now here we have to specify the label and the value both. Okay, label should be visible in the user interface. Value will be passing to the backend. So when coming to the account records, we are having the account names. I want to populate the names inside that Picklist control so that I want to make it as okay a label, and then the actual record ID will be like as the values. Okay, now. So now in this case, how can we implement? Now let's see practically in this case. Okay. So now here itself, I'm going to populating that. I'm adding one more Picklist control. I'm taking one more page block. Apex page block. I'm giving the title account records block. I'm preparing the page block section. I'm giving the title equals to account records and the number of columns equals to 1 and the collapsible equals to 2. I'm preparing a separate page block here. Inside this page block, I'm going to populating that Picklist control. I'm using that Picklist control, select option, so select the list. I'm indicating the label property. Label equals to select the account name. Now I'm indicating that multi-select property, multi-select equals to false. I'm indicating the size equals to 1. I'm preparing a Picklist control with the name, select the account record name. Okay, now it is empty right now, there is no elements are available. I would like to populate okay, the account record names inside my Picklist control. Now how to do that? Now tell me here. Designing part is over. Up to the designing part we are over. We are done with that. We have placed the Picklist control. Now the Picklist control is empty. Nothing is available. I want to collect all the account record names from that account object. I want to find out. What we can do now? Tell me that backend code.
You can create the exact page account
Okay, right.
that ID and name.
Okay. Remaining columns are required? No, because we are just binding that account record name. So we need that ID and then name value. So these two column values are sufficient, right?
We take the process, but and take the label values as name and label ID.
Item value should be account record ID, right? Now, the same code, okay, the same piece of code we are implementing here also. Okay, the similar piece of code we are implementing right now here also. So now here I am going to be commenting this piece of code. Let me comment this page block. Okay, now I'm having only one page blank. Is there? I would like to populate. So in this case, now I'm going to preparing the collection. List of select option, LST accounts option. I'm making it as get and set. Now here are the account record names I would like to add inside my list collection, which is of type select option. Now tell me the code now. LST accounts option equals to new list of select option. Next one. We need to collect the account records first. How can we collect the account records? List of account. LST accounts equals to I'm fetching the data. Select ID of the account record, name from account. Where order by. I'm going to be collecting all the account records available inside my object. I'm fetching only the ID value and the name value from the account object, and then I'm arranging this account record based on the name column in ascending order. Once the records are available, then what we can do? If LST account is not empty, then we need to iterate this collection of the account records. For each and every account record ACC from LST account. Now tell me, how can we do that? Adding the element, same. Then what we can do? What is that collection name? LST accounts option. So now here I would like to add the elements. Dot add. What is that element you want to add? A new select option. Okay, a new select option. In this select option, what we need to supply? Value and the label. What is the label? What is the value now? ACC dot ID. Okay, this will be the value. ACC dot name will be that. That's it. Okay, that means what? We are going to be collecting the data from my account object. Okay, I'm collecting only the ID value and the name value from my account object, and then based on that, by arranging the account record names in the alphabetical order in the ascending format. Once the account record names have been getting collected, then I am going to be iterating this collection from starting to ending by using this enhanced for loop. Each and every account record name and then value I'm picking up from that record, and with those values I'm preparing a select option type, and that option I'm placing inside my collection. Once all the elements have been added to the collection, then we can able to bind this collection to your Picklist control. So now here I'm going to bind this. How can we bind this one? Apex select options. Okay, select options. What is the property? Value equals to within specify. Okay, specify the collection. That's it. So in this case, what happened? Whenever the page is getting loaded, it is going to be creating the object of this class, and the default construct will be getting fired. It is executing the SQL query. Can I write the SQL queries inside the constructor? Yes, sir. Yeah. Can I write the DML statements? No, DML statements won't allow. Okay. Only the SQL and SQL we can place inside this. Now here we are writing one SQL query to get the data from the account object, and then we are verifying whether this collection is empty or not. That means account object is having some records or not. If the records are available, then I'm iterating this collection from starting to ending, collect each and every account record from the collection. Based on this account record name and the ID value, prepare a Picklist element with the help of select option class, and then add it to that collection. Once all the elements have been added to the collection, it will be populating inside your Picklist control by using that select options tab. Okay. Now, so let's see. Whatever the account records are available, all the account record names will be getting populating inside your Picklist control automatically by default. Okay. Whatever the account record names are available, all the names are getting arranged in the alphabetical order. Those names are populating inside your Picklist control. So in this case, you can raise a question here, sir. I want to add one option by default. Now, How can we add that option? None. So in this case, what happened? Once the records have been getting collected, we are going to be iterating the collection. We are adding each and every element to my picklist control. So before adding these elements, I would like to add none option. Okay, just to go to that. Before adding that for loop, here I'm adding that none option. How can we add this one? This will be empty. This will be. I'm placing this one. Before the for loop itself, we need to specify that none option. So that here, first of all, it is adding that none option inside your picklist control. Then remaining elements will be getting populated because list collection is purely an ordered collection. So whatever the order you have added the elements, in the same order, those elements will be visible to inside your picklist control also. So now let's go to your visual first page. You'll be having the default option as none. From there, you will be having the remaining options will be getting visible inside this. Okay, clear? Understood the concept now? Now, so up to this is fine. Any issues or any difficulty, any confusions? Because now I want to do some enhancement for this one. I want to make this user interview, make this use case a bit complex. Understood this concept up to this part? So let me place this code up to this part. Now, so now I want to make this functionality a bit complex here. Okay. Okay. Select option tag is used to add only one element inside your picklist control through user interface. Okay. Through user interface. Okay. From the user interface point of view. Okay. Not from the backend. Whenever if you want to add the element to the picklist control from the user interface level itself, then we can go with that select option tag. Suppose if you want to add a group of element from the backend. Okay, if I'm coming from the backend means that may be either one, that may be either two, multiple also. At that time, to add a group of elements at a time, we are using that select options tag. Okay. Because if it is a backend, there is a concept of collection. There we can hold multiple. If it is a user interface, no collections, nothing. So that every element we have to add one by one. For that one, we are using select option tag. Clear? Now. So now let's see. Let's see a small enhancement, okay, for this implementation. How to do this enhancement? Now let's see. So right now, inside my user interface, I'm able to populate all the account record names. For example, I'm selecting the account Edge Communication. So beside this button, beside this picklist control, I will place a small button control. Okay, I will place a small button control. So as soon as once you click on the button control, for this account, whatever the contacts, whatever the cases, whatever the opportunities are available, it has to collect, it has to show to me inside my user interface itself. Okay. Just now selecting the account record name. For this account, whatever the contacts, whatever the opportunities, whatever the related cases are available, I would like to fetch and I want to show inside that separate page blocks. Or else in a single page block itself here by using separate sections. How can we do this one? Tell me your approach. I want to get the related contacts, opportunities, cases. To get this one, what we need? Account ID. How can we get the account ID? Here I am populating that name. Whenever I'm selecting the account record name, what it will pass to the backend? ID, okay, account record. Now, how to capture that ID then? What is this control? Select a list. What properties are there? No. Then what properties? ID property, label property, rendered property, multi-select property, size property, and one more. Value property, right? There is a property called as value. What the value property will do? What is the use of that value property? No. Key value from backend or from front end? I'm having a text box. Okay, whatever the value we have entered in the text box, I want to store the value inside my variable. What we are using? Value property. In the text box, we are using a value property. In that value property, we are indicating that variable name in which this text box value should be getting resides. Like the similar way, whenever I'm going to binding a variable to my picklist controls value property, there is a property called as a value property that already we have discussed in the last session. Inside that select list tag, we have a property called as value property. Okay, value property. So now in this case, whenever I'm going to selecting any element, okay, any element. For example, I'm selecting this edge communication. Whenever I'm selecting this element, corresponding element's ID is available. Okay, because we have added label value both. So whatever the label that we have selected, regarding this label, whatever the value is available, that value will be passing to the backend. How? With the help of value property. Then where you want to store that value? For that one, specify the variable. So inside my select list tab, we are having a property called as value property. Specify the variable name in which the selected record ID will be getting resides. Okay, observe the internal concept of this picklist control. Yesterday also I told you, whenever I'm using the normal picklist control, picklist is purely supporting map collection. Whatever the element we have selected, the corresponding value will be passing to the backend. So in this case, we have added some account records. Upon adding the accounts, what we have supplied? Account ID, account name, both we have supplied. So these are what account record names. Whenever I'm selecting any account record name, the corresponding records a value, that means ID. That ID will be passing to the backend. How can we catch that one? With the help of a property called as value property. So that we have to use that value property inside the picklist control. With the help of that value property, we can collect the ID of that selected account record. Then based on the ID, we can get the respective contacts and opportunities and the cases by making a query to the database. Okay. Now tell me, based on that account record ID, how can we get the respective contacts, opportunities, and cases? By using inner query, we can use that. Okay, based on the account record ID, we can use relationship queries concept. We can able to use that inner query also. With the help of inner query, we can get all these objects information in a single query itself. That possibility is available to you. Okay, understood the concept here? Now, so now let's see in this case. Whatever the picklist control is available, in this picklist control, upon adding the elements, we have supplied two things. One is we are passing that account record ID and then account record name. That means account record name will be getting visible to you inside the picklist control as a label, and then upon selecting that account record name, the corresponding account record ID, because we have specified the value. Value means what? ID. That ID will be passing to the backend. So that we need to collect that ID value. To get that ID value, we are using a property called as value property. Okay, we are using that value property. Now, as part of this control, we are having a property called as value property. In this value property, we have to indicate the variable in which variable the selected account records ID will be getting stored. Based on that ID, we can able to make the associable query to the backend. Okay, understood the concept here? No. So let's go with that practical implementation now. Now tell me then what we can do in this case. I'm placing a button control. Along with the Picklist control, I'm placing a button control here. Apex command button value equals to get related records. Okay. I'm placing a button control here. After selecting this any of this account record, whatever we have, once you click on get related records button, I want to collect all the related records. So those related records I want to show inside a separate page block. I'm using the separate page block. Inside this page block, I'm giving the title, search results, or related records. Simply. Apex page block section. I'm indicating the title as related contacts. I want to show the count of contacts. I'm indicating the number of columns equals to 1, and I'm indicating the collapsible option. I don't want the collapsible option, so that I'm indicating it as false. Like the similar way, I would like to place that respective opportunities. Related opportunities. I'm placing one more page block section to show the related cases. Okay, so these are the page block and the page block sections we have placed now. So now, for example, this is my user example. So now here I'm selecting any one of the account record. After selecting this account record, as soon as once you click on this get related record, the corresponding child record, like as the related contact, related opportunities, related cases, I want to populate inside this. And then I want to show the number of contacts are available, number of opportunities, number of cases are available. I want to show that count values also. Okay. Slowly I would like to do the enhancement here. Because today I will show you how can we get the records by using the get related records button. Tomorrow I will remove the button also. Okay, I will remove the button also. So in this case, whenever I'm changing the selection, automatically it has to do that operation for me. Okay, now. So now getting this case. Now tell me how can we do this one? Okay. Three methods are why one method is not sufficient. Whatever. This it requires the collection, right? Inner query. Okay, inner query we can use. Okay, fine. Now, first of all, what needs to be done? To make the query, to get the record, first of all, we need the record ID, right? Yes. How can we get the record ID? Value property. In that value property, what we need to specify? A variable name. That means in which variable you want me to store the selected account record ID. So for that one, I'm defining a variable. I'm defining a variable. Public string selected account ID. I'm defining a variable with the name selected account ID. I'm giving that command. to get the related records. Okay. So in order to get the related records here, we need that selected account record ID, so that I'm defining a variable with the name selected account ID. Now then what needs to be done? Whatever the account record that is selected right now, from this account record, this particular account record ID I want to store inside my variable. For that one, we need to store this variable inside my value property. Okay. Go to your Picklist control. You will be having a property called as value property. Inside that, select the list tag. Okay. Inside that select list tag, you are having a property called as value property. Okay. Value equals to specify that variable. Selected account ID. Okay. So now whatever the account record that was selected, that selected account record ID will be storing inside my variable called as selected account ID. Once the variable value, that means record ID is available, then we can able to get the related records information. How can we get the related records information? For that one, I'm preparing a method. Public void get related records. Now tell me, how can we do that? Query, okay. Okay. We need to prepare a query. Now tell me, how can we prepare that query here? I'm preparing the collection, list of account, LST accounts. Get and set. LST accounts equals to new list of. Okay, done. Next. Okay, directly will you write the query? Suppose, for example, I'm not selecting anything, directly I click on that get related record. If condition, right? Tell me. If selected account ID not equals to null and selected account ID not equals to empty. Then what we can do? Write that query. LST accounts equals to fetch the information. Select the ID, name of that account record here. We don't want much information from this one. From account, where ID equals to selected account, whatever the value is available inside my variable, based on this account record ID, I'm fetching the respective account records information. Now, along with that accounts, what we want? Contacts also. How can we get it? Select the ID, first name, last name, email, title, phone, fax, from contacts. Next. After that, ID of that opportunity, name of the opportunity, amount value, and the stage name, and then close it. From opportunities, right? Next. Select the ID, case number, status, priority, type, reason, subject, origin from, case. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now we have collected this information now. That means what? As soon as when the user has been selecting any account record, okay, from this Picklist control, whatever the account record is selected, that account record ID value will be coming into my variable automatically by default. When the user click on get related records, then based on that account record ID, I would like to make an SQL query from the database. I'm collecting the related contact records, opportunity records, and the case records from that object here. And now I'm storing inside my collection. Now this collection will be accessible from the Visual Force page. Now we can able to represent on my Visual Force page itself. Okay, clear? Now, So now here in this case, here how can we fetch this information? Now let's see. Inside my page block, I would like to represent this information. Related records, related contacts I want to represent inside this. How can we represent? Page block table, okay? Page block table. Value equals to what we can specify. LSD accounts. Now 0 dot contact. Okay, and the var property equals to. That means what? Inside my collection, we are having only one account record. Collection may be having multiple, but in this case, here I'm collecting the first account record, that related contacts I'm collecting. So that here I'm collecting that in this collection, the first record is collected index position 0. For this account, whatever the related contacts are available, collect these contacts. From this one, I'm iterating each and every contact record by using the reference variable and then represent the values. Now we can specify that column value equals to contact dot first. I'm representing the information one by one. And I'm indicating the title. And I'm indicating that email ID value or phone value. I'm indicating that. Now, how can we get this size now? LST accounts are 0 dot contacts dot size. Okay. Next, remaining thing. How can we populate this information? Apex page block table. Value equals to LSC accounts of 0 dot opportunity. Value equals to okay. Apex column value equals to opportunity dot name. Apex column value equals to opportunity dot amount. Apex column value equals to opportunity dot schedule. Apex column value equals to opportunity dot. I want to show that size. How can we indicate? LST accounts of 0 dot opportunity. That's size. I'm representing like the similar way cases. Okay, just it. Now, do not tell me that cases information. Page block table. I'm indicating the value. LSD accounts of 0 dot cases. That equals to some CS. Apex column value equals to CS dot case number. apex column value equals to PS dot data. I'm indicating the R is type of the case, reason of the case, priority. So, how can we get the number of cases count? LST accounts of 0 dot cases dot. That's it. Okay. So now here in this case, observe this one. So what we did, so whatever the account record that we have selected right now, okay, inside my Picklist control, whatever the account record we have selected, based on this account record name, okay, I'm collecting the account record ID. So now once the user click on that get related records, I'm going to be executing a method which is called as get related records method, which will be collecting that selected account record ID value. If the ID value is not null and not empty, then based on this ID, I'm collecting the respective contacts and the opportunities in the cases. Once the information is available, then I'm populating this information inside my page block table CLC. Okay. Now I need to refresh this page block here. When upon click on the button control. So as soon as when the user click on the button control, I want to call that method. So what is that method name? Get related records. Then. So I would like to refresh this page block here. Okay, related opportunities. Now we get the page block. I want to indicate ID equals to page block. I want to refresh this component. Instead of refreshing the whole page, I would like to refresh only that page block. Okay, clear? Same functionality. Okay, previously what we did, the same thing we did here also, nothing new. Just we are going to be collecting the records from the object upon click on the button control, populating the respective page block. Like for example, let's see. So now I'm selecting the edge communication. Click on get related records. We are able to fetch the related contacts, related opportunities, related cases. For example, I'm selecting like as a Dickinson PLC. Click on get related records, 1 contacts, 1 opportunity, 0 cases. I'm selecting like as University of Arizona. Get related records, 3 contacts, 3 opportunities, 1 case. And for this one, United Island Gas Corporation. Get related records, 4 contacts, 10 opportunities, 7 cases. So whatever the information is available, we can able to collect that information also. Depends upon your requirement, we can fetch the data from the object based on the selected record. Here I'm not populating any account record ID, just I'm having that name. Whenever I'm selecting the account record name, the respective ID will be passing to the backend. I'm catching that ID inside a variable. Based on that ID value, I'm getting the related records, I'm populating inside my page block. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? So now what we did, first of all, prepare a Picklist control on your Visual Force page, get the account records information from your database upon loading the page, populate all the account record names inside the Picklist control. And then place the button control on your user interface. Now after selecting any one of the account record, upon click on that button control, get the selected account record ID value, okay, and then based on that record ID value, we can able to set the related contacts, opportunities, and the cases we can represent inside your page block. Okay, clear? Now, let me copy this code. Let me prepare this one. I have added two more points here. Do this enhancement. Okay. So do the practice on this one today. Tomorrow we'll see the action support component and then action region and the action function also. Understood the code, right? We need a photo shoot now. Try your phone today. You should not copy that code. You have to take a screenshot of this one. Based on that, you have to implement. Select action tag. I think already we did that, right?